Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's almost time!
Well, hello, everybody. You already know what it is. You know who it is. You know what time it is. It's almost time. I'm your co-host for the evening, Mr. A1. With me, as always, we got the resident hater, Mr. Paul Wilby.
That's right. Fuck Chris Curtis.
What do you do now?
Nothing. I haven't thrown him into the batch of dummies lately. I just felt bad I was leaving him out. You know, I've been talking about Tito. I've been talking about Manel Kopp. I've been talking about all the dummies, and I haven't mentioned Chris Curtis in a while.
So you had to remind people where the hate started?
Maybe that is where it started. He was definitely one of the OGs.
Well, I know that's I think where we coined you as a resident hater. Chris Curtis.
Yeah, you're right.
But we're about 2 weeks removed from the last fight card. We planned on going a little bit sooner, but hey, we did it. So fuck you, I guess. I don't know. A little bit of haterade for me because I'm thirsty over here. So I want to get on that hate. But hey, like your girlfriend's missed period, better late than never, right?
Damn right.
Yep, I thought so. So, we are just a little over 2 weeks removed from the UFC 306 Noche UFC. This was at the MGM Sphere, obviously. It tells you right below, but I figured I'd say it anyways. A lot to kind of go over on that. We're actually going to be covering that. We're covering the this weekend's upcoming fight night, and we're going to give you all a little preview at the upcoming pay-per-view because we probably won't be on in between now until after that pay-per-view. So we're going to hit you with a double parlay, I guess, because I ain't getting no picks from Mr. MIA Cornbread. So we'll give you what we can. Overall,
1v1 now.
Did you get a chance to see any of the fights, the highlights, the
Noche? Or not Noche, the Sphere card.
Yeah.
It's the same thing? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I did some finagling, and I was able to find a way to watch them on my phone.
Okay.
Let me pull up the card real quick and just see where I came in at because I got to see a decent bit.
Gotcha. Well, really,
Diego Lopez beat the shit out of Brian Ortega.
Okay, so you saw at least a good portion of the main card then.
Yes. I think I came in right at the end of Ribovic and Zellhuber. Like I didn't really see the fight. Diego Lopez and Brian Ortega. I remember that's where I came in, I guess.
Okay. So you saw 4 out of the 5 on the main card, anyways. Kicking off the night, we'll just go bottom to top real quick. I'll brush through these right quick. And I actually figured out how to say this motherfucker's name. I'm so proud of myself. First up, we have Raul Rosas Jr. versus Arichi Lang.
Arichi Lang. Okay, that makes sense.
Yep. And
it's a lot easier than what I was saying.
It might be Arichi Lang or Arichi Long.
Okay.
The way I remembered it is like a reach is long.
That's fair. That works.
And so it stuck with me after that though. So the fighter with one name, Arichi Lang, fought our boy's son, Raul Rosas Jr. And for any of you casuals tuning in and shit and thinking that like our boy's really father, Raul Rosas Jr., get out of here with that shit. Like this is his adopted son. He took him under his wing the second he saw him fight on Contender Series. And that's just where it came from. Just the same as Lopez is our boy's son too. So we're gonna show him some extra love here on the podcast. And that's just how it goes. So first fight of the night, Rosas Jr. or Richilong. It went to a decision, a very definitive decision, though. If you ask me, Rosas was getting the better strikes, better takedowns. Richilong, though, is no slouch. Just due to seasons, he's been through some wars. He's got the experience. So this was actually one of the biggest tests, I think, up to this point for Rosas Jr. He passed it with flying colors. You all know we would have loved to have seen a submission, would have loved to have seen a TKO, KO. It just wasn't in the cards. Got himself a decision, though, and looked pretty decent doing it. I feel like they're going to be stepping his competition up, though, slowly but surely, and we're going to see some more harder fights for him here in the future. And it's about time, I think he's like 4 fights in now to his UFC contract, and he's proven that he belongs there. He can hang with some of the best of them. And yeah, took out a Richilong. Even though it was a decision, it worked out. Next up on that way is that, hold up, I'm going to have to go over to Sherdog because the Joshua Van, okay, I remember how this fight ended, but for some reason the UFC website is still showing it as like the fight hasn't happened. Doesn't say anything. So yeah, give me just a second here. Oh man, I'm good. I had this pulled up from last week, and when we were supposed to run it, I still got it up. So yeah, Joshua Van versus Edgar Shiras. This was a back and forth fight. I had Shiras taking the first round. Had Van hurt early in the fight. Van fought through some adversity. I was kind of worried about Van in this fight. I think his last fight prior to this was a pretty bad TKO, and I thought he was coming back just a little bit too early. But he got through it. He got through the adversity, started getting some better shots in the second and the third round, and he took a unanimous decision in the end, beat Shiras. Yeah, unanimous decision victory. The upset of the night, and I call this like the upset of the night just due to the fact that Caitlin Souza was like a plus 300, plus 400 underdog going in against Yasmin Uruguay. And Uruguay, her last couple fights, she's looked super dominant, just looked like she was on her way to challenge for a title here in the next few fights. And
project.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And
I don't even like that term. I'd say it as a meme now, honestly. Like, I think sometimes it's true, very seldomly, but like I feel like mostly it's just a douchebag term that's not actually true.
It's a casual term for sure. People that want just waiting on people to fall. This is what they say when they finally do. Oh, fraud checked, broke the hype. The hype wasn't real. But no. I thought for sure though that. If it stayed on the feet, that Uruguay had the better stand-up, the better hands, the better technique. And Souza just said, no, fuck y'all. Fuck all of you. I'm going to knock this bitch down with a nice, I think it was a right, just straight clocked her in the fucking jaw, dropped her, and when she wasn't quite sure what was going on, Souza jumped on her, took her back, and submitted her. Rear naked choke in the first round. And when I say like this really didn't last long at all. It was 3 minutes and 2 seconds. Rear naked choke victory for Caitlin Souza. Biggest dog, I think, to actually hit that night. She was actually one of the bigger dogs on the card. If I remember right, this is only a 10-fight card. And only 5 fights, were on the main card. And there's a reason behind it. We'll get to that. But, yeah, Souza with the upset victory. Next up, we had Manuel Torres versus Ignacio Bahamondes. And I'm not going to lie, up until a fight ago, I kind of had wrote Ignacio off. Like, I thought he was good, but he was kind of more like a flash in the pan. Like, people were starting to figure him out. Had a loss or two, and just kind of was trending downwards until his last fight. His last fight, he came out, and I want to say he got a TKO victory. Kind of opened my eyes again, like, oh, okay, maybe Bahamondes is for real. He fought a dog of a fighter on the Sphere card, though, with Manuel Torres. And Manuel, his technique's not 100%, but he puts everything into his punches. Like, he goes in there to fucking knock your head off. It is kill or be killed for Torres. And this fight was no different. Like, literally was throwing the kitchen sink at Bahamondes. And Bahamondes, it was like a minute and a half probably into the first round, caught Torres stepping in and countered, like basically parried, had really good head movement, got out of the way of the shot, and then caught him with a 1-2. I think it was a left and then an overhand right. Straight got him slumped, and it was funny. I was my son was out or up for the weekend this last weekend, and he had seen some of the fights. He didn't get to see the main card, so we were just going back through the fights. And when Torres got slumped for the first time, he goes, "Dad, he looks like he's trying to play limbo." Like, the way he slumped back, it looked like he was trying to get under that bar. But he fought through it. Bahamondes tried to jump on him and ground and pound. Torres fought through it though, clinched onto him, got through it. They got back to their feet, and a couple minutes later, Torres comes rushing in again, trying to catch Ignacio, and Ignacio slipped the punch. 2-punch combo, the same combo that dropped him the first time, dropped him the second time, and this time got on him, ground and pound, TKO victory, Ignacio Bahamondes. Really impressive performance in my opinion. Torres, I think, was slightly favored to win that fight, but Bahamondes said, "Fuck the odds. Like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and I'm taking this dub." You might be, yeah, you might have been the one. You might be the Mexican fighter. You might be the reason I'm on this card, but I'm getting me a dub. And actually did first of all, fight before Caitlin Souza did get a performance of the night bonus for what she did to Uruguay and upsetting her, so she got a little bonus there. And Bahamondes also got a performance of the night bonus for his KO over Manuel Torres. Both very deserving. My least favorite fight of the night was the main fight of the prelims, Irene Aldana versus Norma Dump Truck Dumont.
I love it.
Yeah, well, and I know that ain't technically her fight nickname, but she might want to reconsider that because it is there. That's all I'm gonna say. Dumont was actually very confident coming into this fight. I thought after the little run that Aldana had been on and then going to a decision with Amanda Nunes, I thought Aldana was going to have more for her than what she did. But Norma came out, was very, very persistent on getting off first, was punching, throwing kicks, just was not settling. And anytime Aldana would start to close distance, Dumont would circle out. Now, with Irene being a boxer too, or boxing style, I know this girl knows how to cut a fighter off, but chose to ignore it, chose not to cut her off one single time the entire fight. And I think this is the reason she lost the fight. Norma Dumont won a unanimous decision victory, and it was very definitive. There was no question. Like, Aldana had a couple moments in round 2 and maybe a little bit in round 3, but this was Dumont's fight. Dumont's fight all the way. I think it was in the second round, hit Aldana with an elbow and legit split her all the way down to her eyebrow. Third round came and opened it up even more. By the end of that fight, Aldana's face was a bloody mess. Again, Dumont with the unanimous decision victory. Let me double check the rankings there because I think they were both ranked. Yeah, actually, Dumont just took Aldana's number. So Norma Dumont now is officially ranked number 5 at bantamweight in the women's division. And Aldana dropped down to 6. So I guess there wasn't too much, or maybe she just dropped down a number because I think Dumont was more like top 8, 9, maybe 10. I think maybe 9 sounds about right. But yeah, very impressive performance by Dumont. And another thing I do like about Dumont too is even prior to this fight, she's like, no, I'm ready to fight anybody. I don't care who it is. They could be up, down. They could be top 5. They could be champ. Like, I don't care who it is. I want the fucking smoke. So shout out to Norma Dumont for that one. That was my least favorite fight just because I was pulling for Aldana. I think my prelim parlay actually was capped off with the money line on Aldana. So I was pissed that Aldana just did not fight a good game. Before we get into the main card, because I don't know if you just sit and listening very intently, or if we throw, okay, there you are, you're moving. We gonna run the hand wrap promo, and I'll be right back because I gotta go grab my coffee.
Bet. I had mine before.
Okay. No, you ahead of the curve then.
That's right.
Again, for those that don't know, me and Cornbread took a little trip out to International Fight Week last year, and got to meet some of the cutmen. So here you go.
What's going on? Cornbread, the Trash Panda. And y'all know how I do when it comes to rapping. You know, I'm one of the best out here. Or at least so I thought. Until I met this man. You see how he rapping? Crew Eileen, cut man, rapper extraordinaire. He gonna get us right. Stay yo. So we got the finished product, you know what I'm saying? He gonna explain what's going on here.
What you looking at? You want to love here. You want your knuckles to be clear. How that feels when you punch?
That's cool.
You got cast on?
Yeah.
When you turn your hand, you want an open palm. Open it up. If you grapple, you want to be able to catch. Hold good. You know, a boxing rap will be too much gauze and tape here. It will be hard for you to grapple.
Right.
But in MMA, I want you to have an open palm, make a fist, give me a punch. You fell down.
Yeah.
Protection here, solid on the wrist, open palm. And that's what's up.
That's what's up. Crew Island. Crew Island, did I say that right?
You're right, baby.
That's what's up, man. Hey, we following them. We gonna get you all the info too. Appreciate you. It's almost time. Peace. What's going on?
Man, no, I still can't believe that shit happened over a year ago. It was definitely a good experience. If y'all really fuck with the fight game and the UFC in particular, I would definitely recommend one of these upcoming summers when they're having their International Fight Week. Go check it out. Don't spend the extra bread on the VIP. Just do your general admission. You'll get just as much bang for your buck. And actually, from my understandings, is I thought it was expensive when we went. It jumped like $300 or $400 per pass compared to when we went for this year's. So no regrets. But yeah, if I had to do it all over again, if I ever do it again, I'm just doing general admission. You still get a chance to meet some fighters. They got random fighters walking around the motherfucking place, for Christ's sake. We got to chop it up with Joaquin Buckley, Drew Dober, a handful of just not even waiting in lines. These motherfuckers are just walking around. So you'll be good to go regardless. So the prelims of the Sphere card, they were decent. I definitely enjoyed them. Everybody, again, of course, the second any fight card gets announced anymore, everybody's like, oh, this is a bogus card. This is a basic card. This isn't like UFC 300. This isn't like that. This isn't, just, and maybe it's the fan base. They just like to hate. But I thought this was a decently put together card. Some good names, some good fighters, some good fights in store. And the prelims, for the most part, lived up to it. Other than the main prelim, I like the fight cards. Even, the decision between Shirez and Van, it was a good fight. And if I didn't specify, Van did get the unanimous decision victory. Actually, I think had Shirez hurt a couple times in the second and the third, I might have gotten sidetracked. Part of my ADD.
Happens.
But yeah, no, as I was watching the prelims of the fight card, I was like, I was looking at the backdrop. People were complaining too. Oh man, I wish they would just broadcast the whole fight on the Sphere, like that whole screen, just make it the fight. And they had like two little rectangle boxes. I did call it though, as the prelims was turning into the pay-per-view. I was like, man, I just have a feeling like, yeah, we had some decent visuals for the prelims, but they're about to step their game up when it gets to the main card. And boy, was I fucking right, man. They stepped that shit the fuck up. So every fight had a chapter. There was 6 chapters in all 5 fights. Obviously, there was chapter 1 before the first fight started. And then, yeah, they capped it off with chapter 6 right before the main event. Just to flash or give y'all an idea of what they did. So the 6 chapters, chapter 1, it was in the beginning, kind of talked about Mexico's formation or just like ancient tribes and how it all started. Same with number 2, or number 1 was in the beginning. Was talking basically about how people ended up there. Chapter 2 was talking to early civilizations. Chapter 3 was talking about the rich history of rituals and traditions in the country. Chapter 4 was the battle for independence, obviously talking about the war between Mexico and Spain. And when they finally did get their independence, the reason why there is a Noche UFC was all because they got their independence. So chapter 5 was the fighters and the heroes of Mexican culture. And then chapter 6 was capped off with Mexico today and tomorrow. For each chapter, too, as this card rolled on, they had the fight girls in different outfits, like complete costume change every time.
That's what one thing I was gonna say is I think they should do more of that type shit with the ring girls.
Yes,
if they're gonna, instead of just putting them in the bikinis. That was so cool.
No, that was personally one of my favorite parts about the fight card was the evolution in the chapters of the story being told, and the fact that the ring girls basically match the costumes to what the chapter was that they were talking about. That was one of my favorite things. Also, before we get into more of the fights, I know Dana said prior to this card even happening, this was probably a one and done. I call bullshit. We need at least one of those a year, or one every other year, or something like that. It doesn't always have to be Noche UFC. It could be other themed shit. But what they did with the Sphere, and I'm so glad Dana and the UFC got to do it first, they set a precedent of what this fight game is supposed to look like. When you have the proper venue, you have the proper production. This shit was a fucking movie. But leading in to the first fight of the main card, it was Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Ode Osborne. Osborne been a veteran of this fight game for a minute. I want to say he made his debut during a Conor McGregor fight card, if that tells you anything. This dude's been around for a minute because Conor doesn't even really fight anymore. Fuck with anybody. Right. Come get me. But yeah, Rodriguez versus Osborne, man. This fight was fucking something, and I kind of wish you would have seen this one, Paul, because this, I'll explain at the end of the synopsis. But first round comes out, and Ode smokes Rodriguez with a nice straight right, fucking drops him. Dude's head bounces off of the back of the canvas, and I said, oh shit. Osborne jumps in and starts ground and pounding, and I'm like, oh, dude, this shit's going to be fucking over. For whatever reason, the ref does not stop it, and they keep fighting. Rodriguez kind of starts to pull in, and basically what Osborne does is he gets in the mount and then gets a triangle and then pulls himself onto his back and trying to sink the triangle choke in a little bit deeper. And bro, when I tell you Osborne had this fucking triangle choke, I've seen people tap to less. This dude had this shit locked in, proper technique, fucking ankle was fully under the knee, and he was pulling the head down, man. Like, I said twice in that first 2 minutes of that fight, this shit's done. This shit's not done? No, this shit was not done because Rodriguez pulled himself out of the fucking triangle choke. I don't know how. He was so exhausted by the time he had gotten out of it, though. He didn't even step out of the guard and get back to his feet. He was still recovering. Like, I think he was still hurt from being knocked down and the ground and pound, and then right into the triangle choke with a little bit of an armbar mix and the head being pulled down. This dude was like, I can't explain it, man. This is the closest I've ever seen to a dude being finished by strikes and by submissions, but then didn't get finished. They fought through the round, and Rodriguez kind of gained his composure a little bit. Starting out round 2, Ode wanted to do the same thing, try to rush in and get him. I think he tried to take him down, but during the takedown, Rodriguez reversed it and ended up in a dominant position and basically dominated that second round. I had this shit tied going into the third round, and it was a little close the first couple minutes, but a late takedown and some control time along with some shots Rodriguez won a unanimous decision victory. I could have seen this one being a split just with how the third round was, but the scores were 29-28, 29-27, and 29-27. So that, you know what that tells me? That means both fighters scored 10-8 rounds.
Yeah,
I think Ode got a 10-8 round in the first, and then I want to say Rodriguez got a 10-8 round in the second by 2 judges.
Yeah, that's crazy, actually.
It was insane. And my bone to pick with this one is, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I understand you probably only got so many bonuses you can give out. Really, Dana White's like fucking Oprah Winfrey. He could give a fucking bonus to everybody and still be okay if the fights were that good. Personally, I would have liked to have seen, like, I thought that this was a better fight than the Bahamondes and Torres fight. Like, if I had a choice between giving the bonuses to either one, Rodriguez and Ode probably both would have gotten a bonus in my book, because that was a fucking banger of a fight. Ode showed some good instinct, some good technique. Like, really, it wasn't even his fault that it just didn't happen. He fought a very mentally tough fighter in Ronaldo Rodriguez. And Rodriguez showing the perseverance and then the adjustments into the second and into the third. This was one of my favorite fights of the night. Great fucking way to kick off the pay-per-view card. And just, I, again, don't think they got the love they should have gotten. Next up, though, this is where you came into the card. This was Daniel Zellhuber versus Esteban Ribovics. This was a kind of back and forth fight too, man. Like, starting out the fight, I definitely thought I gave Zellhuber the first round. I thought he was picking the better shots, was having the better control. Second round is when the tide kind of started to turn. Ribovics was getting off on him and just really good getting into range, getting away from where he had to worry about them kicks, and kind of made it his fight. And same with the third round, man. The third round is really, I think, what fucking won this fight for who won the fight. And Ribovics fucking caught Zellhuber with a nice combo, had him hurt, and then literally got him up to cage side and just was fucking treating this motherfucker like a punching bag, dude. Like, to Zellhuber's credit, he got through it. He didn't fucking go down. This is, again, some of these fights that night these people should have been stopped. These should have been TKO wins. They should have been this, but they weren't, due to the heart of the fighters on the card. Both Rodriguez and Zellhuber showing you what Mexican fighting spirit is, and these motherfuckers never quit on themselves. Zellhuber got through that flurry, and then at the end, they were trading. This one ended in a split decision for Ribovics and actually got fight of the night. So they both walked out with a bonus for that one. And personally, I feel like Ribovics, they got the right, even though it was a split decision, it still went to the right person, because Ribovics turned the tide there in the second and then put an exclamation point on this shit in the third. Your thoughts?
Whoops, I'm looking at the wrong one. I was looking at the next card. The Zellhuber one?
Yeah, Zellhuber.
Yeah, I didn't really tune in until it was the very end. I don't even remember if I actually saw the fight. I think I just saw where they raised the hand.
Gotcha. So you don't even know if you saw when Ribovics had him up against the cage and was treating this motherfucker like a goddamn stepchild.
I think I would remember that.
Yeah, no, it was decent, man. If I have to, man, I'm gonna just get you a login and password to ESPN Plus, because you can run these all back on demand now. You can't watch the card in its entirety, but you can watch each fight one by one. I don't know what they got going on.
That sounds better anyway.
What's that?
That sounds better anyway. I don't like all them. I mean, the in-between shit's cool, but
well, this is the one card I feel like you need the in-between shit. If you want to really enjoy the chapters and the visuals of what they actually did with the Sphere,
yeah,
this is the one that you would want to watch, like the filler, because there wasn't really filler. This was a fucking movie.
Right.
Next up, though, the co-main event. I'm gonna just call it that because I think people were more excited for this fight than probably the co-main event, anyways. Number 3 ranked Brian Ortega taking on number 12 ranked Diego Lopez. And this fight was originally supposed to happen back, I think it was at UFC 304. Due to a bad weight cut is what it came out actually just this fight week. Due to a bad weight cut on Brian Ortega's part, his body started shutting down. He wasn't able to make it into the cage. That's when you had 50K Dan Ige step in on 4 hours notice to fight Lopez and actually made it an entertaining third round. Turned the tides, was down 2 rounds, but literally had Lopez hurt and in a little bit of trouble in that third round. Lopez got out, though, with the unanimous decision victory. And, they decided that they wanted to run it back. And I think actually Lopez called for this. He said, no, I know it fell apart, but hey, I still want to be on this fear card. Let's make this happen. So they did. And this one actually went the distance. It went all 3 rounds. But the first round, Lopez came out and made a statement. Caught him with a 1-2 combo overhand right. I think it was an overhand right. It might have even been no, it was overhand right into a left hook. Because caught him with the right, got him stumbling, and as he kind of drooped down, he popped him in the face with the left and kind of woke him back up, I feel like. Stumbled backwards into the cage. Lopez hit him with another combo, dropped him down. Even though if you look at the official scorecard on how all the stats and everything for this fight, they said there was 0 knockdowns. I call bullshit. Because he had him knocked down and hurt bad in the first round. Lopez even tried to play a little bit of Ortega's ground, tried to test his ground game a little bit, which I feel like if he would have made him stand back up with as hurt as Ortega was there in that first round, he probably could have gotten the finish. But I think his ego in him and being a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt himself, he wanted to test it. He wanted to say, hey, look, my jits is just as good as your jits. Kind of ended in a stalemate. They got back to their feet, and for the next 2 rounds, basically, Diego just outpointed him. Was he better striker, better leg kicks, just literally brought the fight to him. This is the second time now, though, I've watched a fighter in the top 15 fight a fighter in the top 5 and took their number from him. We saw this back when Hamzat fought Gilbert Burns. But Burns, I feel like, actually did better against Hamzat than what Ortega did against Lopez. I love T-City. I love what he's done for the sport. I love the war that he had with both with Holloway and with Volkanovski. But personally, if you ask my opinion, I think Lopez is getting towards the end of the road as far as his fighting career goes. And
Ortega?
Yeah, I feel like we might get 1 or 2 more before he probably hangs his gloves up.
Yeah, for some reason I feel like he's been around forever.
I mean, he has. If you think about it, I think the Holloway fight was 4 or 5 years ago. The Volkanovski fight for the title was at least 3 years ago. And I
was thinking like Dominic Cruz forever.
Well, let me just take a quick look, at least as far as his UFC career goes. How far back are we talking? Okay, yeah, so the Holloway fight was back in 2018, 6 years ago.
Yeah, it looks like his first UFC fight was in 2014.
Yeah, 10 years in the organization.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I just think Cruz has like 20?
Something like 15 or some shit like that. Cruz.
I was thinking he was a Cruz era guy, but I don't think he is.
But if you want to, if we're talking longevity, you got to think Max has been in this game. Holloway's been on the roster for a decade now too, and literally just now hitting his prime. I think it all depends on how old you were when you made your debut. Max was a baby when he got into the UFC. I think he was like 19 or 20. But yeah, I just, after this, and especially don't not saying that he couldn't ever beat Lopez, but it definitely wasn't his night that night. Lopez showed why he is a top prospect. And Lopez, after the fight, usually he's very stoic, very polite, but he was screaming at Dana White, give me a title shot. Give me that belt. Only downside to that is he's got 3 killers that are ahead of him right now in the rankings. You got Max Holloway, you got Volkanovski, and you got the champion Topuria. And again, not saying that he could never beat them. I just don't know if he's ready for that yet. Because any one of those fighters is a tall order. We got Holloway and Topuria happening October 27th, so just right about a month from now. Personally, I think what's going to probably happen is he's going to get a shot against Volkanovski, and we're going to see if Volkanovski is still got it, or if those 2 knockouts within that 3 or 4 month period took it out of him. I will never count Alexander the Great out. I know better. This dude proved me wrong 5 times, 6 times before I really started getting behind him. Like even the Holloway trilogy, I still think Holloway won that second fight. But that third fight, Volkanovski absolutely dominated, made Max look human, which is hard to do with Max Holloway. But yeah,
I mostly agree. I think he was on his way out, whether he got knocked out or not, just because he's getting up there.
And
I don't think it was the knockouts that did it, but
yeah. And you could be right. And really, what it breaks down to is it's the weight class, it's the weight cuts.
Yes.
Because you get people up in their mid to late 30s in the heavier divisions, and that it's not the same criteria to be judged by. Everybody keeps talking about how John Jones is such an old man and he's on his way out and all of this shit, and he's the same age as Alex Pereira.
I think Volk's the same age too, isn't he?
Right about, yep. What up, Blake? Thanks for tuning in.
Gang, gang. Oh shit! What the? Urameshi!
I said,
hell
oh
yeah,
shit,
dude.
we got some love. We got a comment. Got a shout out to people that are tuning in live. I know it's been a minute since we've been on Facebook. So yeah, appreciate you joining in and listening to the little TED Talk that we got going. Moving forward though, like I said, yeah, Lopez won. Probably getting Volkanovski next if I had to guess. But now we go to the co-main event of the evening. This is the 3rd time these two have fought back to back. Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Bullet Shevchenko for the women's flyweight championship. First fight, Alexa shocked the world, came in a big betting dog and got I think it was a 4th round rear naked choke over Valentina, shocked the world. They ran it back a year ago in September at the first Noche UFC card. And the fight ended in a majority draw, which kind of pissed me off because I had Valentina ahead in that second fight. I thought she had done enough. Grasso had her moments. I think it was around 1 and 4, but then 2, 3, and 5 was all Valentina. I don't see how anybody could have scored it any other way. But I think it was Mike Bell fucking scored that 5th round at 10-8 for Grasso, and the fight ended in a draw. They were planning on running this back about 6 months ago, but shortly after the fight, Valentina had to have surgery on her hand, and then shortly after that, Grasso had a hand injury, so they both took some time off. They said, hey, we're going to run it back at the next Noche, and that's exactly what they did. This one, if you talk to any casual that watched these fights, they're going to tell you that this was a boring fucking fight, and I disagree with them. I wholeheartedly disagree with people thinking that
Dana thought it sucked.
Who did?
Dana?
Well, but Dana always wants them flash knockouts. He wants those things that you could put on replay and talk about how shocking that finish was. I get it from a promo standpoint. It probably was a little boring. But you also got to look at what the fuck they did to Valentina the last time she came out there and was being flashy. They robbed her. They did not give her that dub. So she said, you know what? I'm going to do everything in my fucking playbook I can to make sure that this victory is as decisive as fucking possible. And when it was on the feet, Valentina was getting offers. She was getting the better of the combos, the better of the strikes. And as soon as Grasso was ready to warm up to fire back with the strikes, Bullet would go in for a takedown and get the shit. and then controlled the position, get little point shots off, but still kept the dominating position, had the better strikes. And this went on for all 5 rounds. There was not a single round on any of the judges' scorecards where Grasso won. And I think this was Valentina's point, was if y'all don't want to give it to me when I'm really going out there and fighting, I'm just, again, going to stick to the game plan. I'm going to play it safe. I'm not going to make any mistakes. I'm not going to give y'all a chance to rob me of my fucking title again.
Right. Yep.
And so she did just that. And obviously, yeah, won the fight. Was unanimous decision, 50-45 across the board. And new women's flyweight champion, Valentina Bullet Shevchenko. I'm so happy for her because this is well-deserved. People could be upset about the performance. But what was even more impressive, other than the performance, was her post-fight speech. Valentina went out there and spoke 3 or 4 different languages in her acceptance speech. She hit him with the English thank yous, hit him with the Spanish thank yous, hit him with the Russian thank yous, and then hit him with the I think it was Cantonese, or what did they speak in the Philippines?
I have no idea.
Well, she can speak it, and she did. So she hit everybody with 4 fucking languages in her post-fight speech. That was one of the dopest fucking things I've ever seen any fighter do, is acknowledge it in 4 different languages. And Joe didn't know what to do. He was just standing there looking like he had a fucking edible or some shit. He was froze. Like, okay, I don't know what you're saying, but I'm going to let you talk.
Right. Hopefully it's nothing bad.
Right. Oh, and
not that she would, of all people, but like, you wouldn't know if she was at first.
Right. And then the final fight of this night was the UFC Bantamweight Championship fight between Sugar Sean O'Malley and Merab the Machine Dvalishvili. And before we even get into it, let's hear it, man, because I made a comment right prior to this fight. We were making some picks, and I roasted you for yours.
You did. And what happened?
I really, I don't know what to say, man.
Hey, that's okay.
I'm sorry.
How do I put this? I guess I'm just a grappling fanboy.
So, what did you like this performance then?
I thought Merab knew that there was one way that he could win this fight, and he made it happen.
Fair enough.
He ain't gonna get it done any other way.
So, but yeah, no. So,
I think if they're gonna get mad about shit like that, then they need to change the rules. Like, I mean, it's the fighter's job to operate within the rule set to get the easiest win that they can.
Yeah, their desired outcome. And there are certain fighters that will try to put on a show, but like when gold is on the line, when you've been chasing a dream for the better part of 10 years, you fell back because your best friend and training partner was a champion, and you guys refused to fight each other. You waited patiently. You took out a murderer's row of top 5 opponents. Literally, Merab fought anybody that they put in front of him. He never complained about it, and he waited to get a shot.
And maybe it's lost to time, but he made it to the title after basically stepping aside because he said he wouldn't fight Aljo when Aljo was champ because they're teammates. So he basically, on top of taking the hard route, he also waited his turn.
No, that's what I'm saying. And again, I think that's why he had to wait even extra long, even once Aljo lost. Is Dana wasn't happy about it. Dana made it very, very clear, like, hey, this isn't the friendship business. This is the fight business.
And honestly, if I was a fighter, like I'm not gonna act like I'm around fucking fight gyms all the time, but I've spent a little bit of time in there, and like all the types of people that I've trained with and hung around with, I just can't see them not being down to fight each other they would fight each other at a regional show for no money. So like, why would you not fight for UFC gold? That's insane.
UFC gold and $500,000 at least for the challenger.
I mean,
$1 million plus for the champion. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I just can't imagine not shaking hands and be like, isn't it pretty cool that we're both like one of us gets to win?
Yep. And we get to go beat the shit out of each other, stuff that we do in training anyways.
Right. Yeah. Like, yeah.
But long story short, I had to eat my words because it's and new UFC Bantamweight champion Merab the Machine Dvalishvili. I've seen a lot of shit posting going on after the fact. They said, "Are we in the boring era of the UFC?" No, there always comes times where it's not quite as entertaining or as high octane as you'd like it to be. There have always been champions like that, and one of the people that people call the GOAT was kind of like that. And I'm talking about George Rush St. Pierre. This dude was king at fighting smart. Didn't take a lot of chances, but had that longevity, had that. Yeah, I don't know what just happened there, but
Me either. My bad.
But with Merab winning, Valentina winning, and Raul Rosas winning, that put us 3 for 3 for our Parlay Pals picks.
When was the last time we all three hit one? It feels like it's been a minute.
It was, I want to say there was one within maybe about the last month or so, but it's been a minute. So
Parlay boys.
I had to hit him with it because we hadn't used the button all goddamn podcast, and that's my favorite soundbite. But yeah, all three hit. So through 31 fight cards, the official tally, Cornbread's still in the lead with 20 dubs. I'm still right on his ass though with 19. And then right behind me is Paul with 18. So this is still anybody's fucking championship to win.
That is. It's pretty. Yeah, that's crazy. He was so far ahead for a while, but I guess it's not really fair anymore.
Nah, for real. If he wins, I'm gonna strip him DQ because he's inactive. Nah.
Yep, got stripped.
No, so yeah, all three hit. And one of my favorite things that I saw after the fight, it was I think I saw it on the TikTok, was Merab and Valentina backstage doing their native dances, wearing their belts. It was fucking hilarious, and like I love the energy. Actually, you had Poeton in the background with his camera out, capturing the moment too, man. Like he was about it too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it was really dope. I'm happy for both of them. I was a little upset about the main card or the as they were reading out the decisions. They had two of them, two judges had the rounds judged 48-47 for Dvalishvili, which means they gave O'Malley straight two rounds. I don't see how they did that.
Yeah, it seems crazy to me.
It's very crazy. It just, again, I think proves my point, or at least affirms my beliefs that they really wanted O'Malley to win. That's the only thing I can think of. And yeah. I'm freezing bad on my computer. You can still hear me though, so I'm gonna just keep going.
Yeah, I think it has to do with the virtual background. I think it eats quite a bit. I'm not really sure though.
Well, if it does, it does. I'm not getting rid of it because this room that I'm in right now is too fucking plain. I'm over at the new spot. I'm actually in my my work office right now. But what is coming up next, you ask? And if you didn't, I'm gonna tell you anyways. It's UFC Fight Night. Money MOICANO versus Benoit Saint Denis. And while we are on this, we're gonna bring this up and we're gonna lock in our parlay picks for this card, and we're also gonna look ahead to the next pay-per-view. Let me take a quick look.
See if I can get it locked in before my phone dies. Oh shit, Nora Cornhole's fighting. Who the fuck are these guys?
Yeah, this one, I mean, as far as star power goes, I mean, there are some names I know, but this is, again, if you're a casual,
it's
be like,
cheaper.
I don't even want to watch this. Co-main event, though, looks like that should be a banger, though, too. Imavov versus Brendan Allen. You got William Gomez, too, versus Joe Anderson Brito. So no, this main card is decent. It's just it's a lot of names casuals aren't gonna know.
St. Denis for me. Lock it in.
Saint Denis. Gotcha. I'm gonna
I
double
like
down.
Money Moicano, but I don't know, man.
See, yeah, as an entertainer and as a personality, I'm Money Moicano all the way. But you're picking a smart choice and picking Saint Denis. I mean, dude just fought Dustin Poirier and had a very good first round against him before Staff took over, and he faded in that second and got slept. I'm a double down because she treated me well just a few fight cards ago. Give me Cavalcante.
All right.
And I have no idea who Mr. Breddington would pick if he was here. So yeah, I'm not for sure. We're gonna leave that open ended, at least for the time being. I'm a hop in the group chat and I'm gonna tell
Plus
them, hey,
100 for the parlay if we do these two.
plus 100.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's not horrible.
Yeah, double your money if you win it.
Hold on. There we go. Now he knows he's on the clock. But yeah, so that's our two anyways that we can give you right now for the UFC fight night. And the next pay-per-view coming up is going to be UFC 307, Alex Pereira versus Khalil Roundtree Jr. And this is weekend after next. This is on the 5th of October in Salt Lake City, Utah. You have one of the most active champions right now at the moment, Alex Pereira, putting his strap on the line against number 8 ranked Khalil Roundtree Jr. And stylistically, man, Roundtree has a shot at this. I'm not going to lie. Like, he definitely has a chance.
You're on the next card, right? That's the next one?
Yeah, UFC 307. Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Thought so.
And then taking a look at that, I was about to double down or triple down on Pereira, but they got him listed at like a minus 455 favorite. I don't want that easy money.
Yeah, yeah, man. I think Khalil Roundtree can do it too if he fights a smart fight, honestly.
Yeah, but every time people are saying, "Oh, this guy can do it. This guy's going to be Poton's kryptonite," dude leaves. They end up waking up.
Hey, I'm just saying, I think he can beat him 3 times out of 10. I'm not saying he's gonna beat him.
Gotcha.
I think if they fight 10 times, I think Khalil wins 2 or 3 of those.
I'd say if they fought 10 times, he might win twice.
Right.
So you got like a 20% chance. We also got, we got Wonder Boy on the card.
Shit, who's he fighting?
Joaquin Buckley.
You know? Oh, shit.
Who you locking in?
Well, I'll start with who I'm not locking in, and it's not Court McGee.
Gotcha. Also, Aljamain Sterling is out of his fight against Movsar Evloev. They're still showing him on the website. But yeah, Sterling pulled out. Evloev actually challenged Lopez to a fight, and Lopez said, "Nope, get in line. I asked you months ago to rematch me, and you didn't want to hear it. And now all of a sudden you don't got an opponent, and I'm ranked higher than you now. Now you want to fight me?
100% valid. 100% valid. He tried to get that. Yeah, I mean,
yeah. No, I agree.
That ship sailed, buddy.
Yep. Go want to fight and then talk. But actually, it is funny too. Evloev has, I think it's 8 canceled fights in his UFC career, and none of them are by him canceling. It's always his opponent backing out.
Man, there's a lot of fun picks to be had on this card. I might make
Dude,
my
this
own
is
little
a
parlay.
fucking stacked card. You got Jose Aldo versus Mario Bautista. You also got finally they're finally having Pennington Porterbell on the line. We're seeing the return of Juliana, the Venezuelan vixen Pena. You got Caitlin Vieira. Ooh, Kayla Harrison's on the motherfucking card
What? Where?
against Caitlin Vieira.
Oh shit! I'm locking in my girl, bro.
Is that your pick?
You're goddamn right. It is.
All right.
She's about to
Man.
pummel this woman, dude. I'm telling you, it's not going to be good.
Oh, bro, I don't know if there's anybody that can take Harrison right now. After I saw that home fight, I think that she's just going through the motions until they give her a shot at the strap. And I don't mean on. But come on now. That was gold.
Oh, sorry, I missed it. I was scrolling on DraftKings. What'd you say?
I said she's just going through the motions until she gets a shot at that strap. Not on. Let me see here. Give me Pena.
Okay.
And I already know fucking Harrison's gonna be like minus 600 or some shit, isn't she?
Let's see.
Probably more.
Is it on October 5th?
Yes, sir.
It's not on DraftKings for some reason.
Hold up, I'm gonna pull it up really quick on the duel.
That really puts a damper on my parlay. I was gonna do a personal parlay.
Well, give it a second. It'll end up on there, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I want to do it now before I forget.
Just call JG Wentworth that in this bitch. It's my parlay and I want it now.
No. I'm gonna start doing multiple multiple card parlays, bro.
Multiple card parlays, huh?
Yeah, like I'm gonna fucking bet on the next 2 cards all in one parlay.
Man, and then you're gonna be waiting for a fucking week while it fucking plays out.
Then I'll be rich. Yeah.
Let's see here.
Yeah,
Kayla Harrison on FanDuel is a minus 850.
Not surprised.
I'm not either. We got and yeah, MOICANO is a plus 220 to Saint Denis minus 280. What was I trying to look here?
You just got to remember, she's the same height and weight as Michael Chandler.
Oh yeah, no, I get it, man. She's a fucking beast, man. Like she showed that she's fucking decent. Juliana Pena is a plus 140. I'm still sticking with it.
Although there is a chance. I guess it's not. It's a little bit not as likely, I guess, but she could be Ronda Rousey 2.0.
No, for sure, but I think more dominant, more than Ronda ever wished she could be. Actually, it's funny you bring this up right before we went on. I rewatched that entire fight card, that pay-per-view. It was I can't think of her opponent's name, but Joanna Jędrzejczyk was the co-main event against Canadian broad. I'm just drawing a blank, and I just watched it. They went to a decision, and then watching the walkouts, I rewatched Holm and Rousey. And that shit, bro, it still hits. Like watching her shock the world. She brought that whole fight. There was not a single moment where Holm was in trouble. And she went into that fight, I think it was like a plus 650 dog. And then shocked the fucking world, bro.
Sometimes you try to walk the dog walks you.
No, exactly. Hold on, where is
Caleb Vieira is ranked 2. What fucking division are we in here? What the fuck is this?
Bantamweight?
Jesus Christ, get rid of it.
Okay, and Cavalcante's a -215. Gotcha. I had to look that up really quick. I'm gonna write these down so I don't forget. And then we just waiting on Breddington's picks. But yeah, those are the next 2 cards up. Like I said, we're probably not gonna be on this Sunday. We probably won't be back on until the Sunday after the pay-per-view. We're kind of dialing it back until we get situated more and figure out how we want to move forward with the pod. We would definitely will be back, though, to talk any and all fights that have happened, because you best believe I'm going to be tuning in, even if I'm not here talking shit to y'all. We will be back to go over them, let you know how the parlays played out. Appreciate everybody's patience. Appreciate the love on the posts, the comments. Keep them coming. We are rounding out closer towards the end of year 2, basically, because we started the pod in March of 2023. So we a year and a half strong anyways. And we need to step up some production and shit like that, but it doesn't happen overnight. But it will happen. Better late than never, right? Like that missed menstrual cycle.
Yeah.
But nah, thanks again to everybody who tuned in tonight. We really do appreciate it. We will be back, though, not this Sunday, but next Sunday. We'll talk all the fights. We'll let you know what's coming up with the other fight nights and the next pay-per-view. But this is your boy A1 and the resident hater Paul. And this has been It's Almost Time. Y'all have a good night, though. And let me hit you with that exit music. It's not that, but good enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.